Every day you choose to stay the same. You let your weak version control your destiny. It's time to take charge and step into your power. The most powerful weapon you have is the decision to break free from the limitations of your past. Kill that weak version of yourself and create the life you want. The truth is, the only thing standing between you and the person you're capable of becoming is the decisions you make every single day. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can kill that weak version of yourself that's keeping you from achieving what you want. It's time to stop letting fear, doubt, and excuses hold you back. It's time to take control and step into the life you deserve. I know it's not easy. Change is hard. But it starts with one simple thing: a decision. A decision to stop living small and start living with purpose. The future you want isn't far away. It's within your reach. And in the next few minutes, you'll discover how your choices, your actions, and your mindset can completely transform your life. So if you're ready to stop settling for mediocrity and start becoming the best version of yourself, stick with me. It's time to make a change. It's time to kill that weak version of yourself and step into your full potential. Let's dive in. Number 1, the power of choice in shaping who you become. One of the greatest truths in life is that the person you become is determined by the choices you make. Right now, in this very moment, you have the power to shape your future. You have the ability to decide who you want to be, what kind of life you want to live, and what direction you want to head in. We often forget that choice is one of the most powerful tools we have. We may think that our circumstances, past experiences, or what others have done to us are what define us. But none of that has the final say. It's the decisions you make each and every day that define who you are and who you will become. The weak version of yourself operates on autopilot, responding to life's circumstances, making choices out of habit, or worse, avoiding decisions altogether. But the strong version of yourself recognizes the power in every choice you make. Every decision, no matter how small, has the potential to move you toward the person you want to be or pull you further away from your goals. Too often, people blame their environment, their upbringing, or their past mistakes for where they are in life. But in reality, these things don't have to dictate your future. The power to change your life is in your hands. It starts with the choices you make today. Each choice you make builds upon the last. The habits you create today, the actions you take, the people you surround yourself with, all of it stems from the choices you make. The path you take is determined by your decisions, not by external factors. Understand this: you can choose to stay stuck in the same place, or you can choose to break free from the patterns that have held you back. You can choose to continue the cycle of self-doubt, fear, and negative thinking, or you can decide to take a step forward, no matter how small. Every step you take in the right direction strengthens your foundation for tomorrow. Every choice you make builds momentum toward becoming the person you want to be. Think about the small choices you make each day. How do you start your mornings? What thoughts are you feeding your mind? What actions are you taking or not taking? These seemingly small decisions are what shape your reality. If you wake up and choose to stay in bed, you're choosing comfort over growth. If you choose to feed your mind with negativity or doubt, you're reinforcing limiting beliefs that hold you back. But if you wake up with purpose, if you decide to take action, even if it's uncomfortable, then you're choosing growth, progress, and success. There is tremendous power in realizing that you're not a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your life. Every decision you make moves you one step closer to the life you want, or pulls you further away. It's up to you. Don't let anyone else make the decisions for you. You are the author of your own story. You have the power to rewrite your narrative. If there are areas in your life where you're dissatisfied, it's time to take responsibility and make a different choice. Don't wait for life to give you permission or for the right moment to arrive. That moment is now. The power of choice is in your hands, and it's up to you to make the choices that will lead you toward the future you want. This is where the real work begins, taking responsibility for your choices. Stop blaming your situation, your upbringing, or your circumstances for where you are. Every choice you make can either move you closer to your potential or further away from it. The decision to improve, to take action, to break bad habits, it's all within your control. The weak version of yourself may want to hide from this responsibility. It may prefer to stay in the comfort zone of excuses, of blaming others, of doing what's easy instead of what's necessary. But the strong version of yourself knows that change is hard. It's uncomfortable. It takes discipline, but it's worth it. When you start to take responsibility for your choices, you unlock the door to your future. You stop feeling like a passenger in your own life and become the driver. The weak version of you waits for things to happen, hopes for change, and looks for a quick fix. But the strong version of you makes decisions, takes action, and stays committed to the process. Here's the key. Even if you make the wrong choice, you can still learn and grow from it. No decision is truly wasted, as long as you're willing to learn from it and make a better choice next time. It's not about being perfect. It's about making decisions with intention and taking responsibility for the outcomes. It's about having the courage to choose a different path when the current one isn't serving you. When you start taking ownership of your choices, you realize that your life is yours to shape. You start seeing opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You stop waiting for change to come from the outside and start creating it from within. This is how you begin to kill the weak version of yourself. You stop playing small and start making powerful decisions that will shape your future. So right now, take a look at the choices you're making. Are they serving you? Are they helping you grow? Are they leading you toward the person you want to be? If not, it's time to make a different choice. Start small. Make the decision to get up earlier, to read more, to take better care of yourself, to eliminate negative thoughts, to surround yourself with positive influences. These small choices, made consistently, will begin to add up to big changes. The weak version of yourself thinks it's too late, or that change is too hard, or that success is only for the lucky ones. But the strong version of you knows that it's never too late to make a new choice. The future is not determined by your past. It's determined by the decisions you make today. Number 2, discuss habits, excuses, and negative thinking holding you back. Let's get right into it. If you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself, you need to confront 3 major roadblocks standing in your way: bad habits, excuses, and negative thinking. These aren't just minor issues. They're anchors. They weigh you down. They hold you back from stepping into the life you're meant to live. Let's start with habits. A habit is something you do repeatedly, often without even thinking about it. It's automatic. And whether you realize it or not, your habits are shaping your life. The question is, are they shaping your life for the better or the worse? Take a moment and think about your daily habits. Are they moving you closer to your goals or pulling you further away? Be honest with yourself. Are you spending hours on your phone instead of working on that dream you keep talking about? Are you procrastinating instead of taking action? Are you choosing short-term comfort over long-term growth? Now here's what's powerful about habits. They can be changed. But first you have to recognize which ones are holding you back. That's the hard part. You have to face the reality of your choices. You have to admit that you've been allowing bad habits to run your life. But once you do that, you take back control. So how do you change a habit? You replace it. You don't just stop doing something. You start doing something better in its place. For example, if you have a habit of staying up late, watching TV, and waking up tired, replace it with a habit of going to bed earlier and waking up refreshed. If you have a habit of complaining about your problems, replace it with a habit of finding solutions. Every time you replace a bad habit with a good one, you're not just changing your actions, you're changing who you are. You're telling yourself, I'm the kind of person who takes care of their health, who works on their goals, who doesn't settle for less. That's powerful. Now let's talk about excuses. Excuses are the lies we tell ourselves to avoid responsibility. They're the stories we create to justify staying where we are. And here's the thing about excuses. They feel comfortable in the moment, but they rob you of progress. Think about some of the excuses you've used in the past. I don't have enough time. I'm too tired. It's too hard. I'll do it tomorrow. Sound familiar? These excuses are nothing more than barriers you've built to protect yourself from discomfort. But that protection comes at a cost. Every time you make an excuse, you're giving your power away. You're saying, I'm not in control of my life. My circumstances are in control. But that's not true. You are in control. You just have to be willing to take ownership. So how do you stop making excuses? You start by taking full responsibility for your life. That means no blaming, no justifying, no deflecting. If you don't like where you are, own it. If you haven't been putting in the effort, admit it. It might be uncomfortable, but it's the only way to grow. Once you take responsibility, you'll realize something incredible. You have the power to change your situation. If you're not happy with your job, you can work toward a better one. If your health is suffering, you can start making better choices. If your relationships are struggling, you can put in the effort to improve them. But none of that will happen if you're stuck in excuse mode. So the next time you catch yourself making an excuse, stop, ask yourself, what can I do about this instead? That one question can change everything. Now let's tackle negative thinking. Negative thoughts are like a poison to your progress. They make you doubt yourself. They make you fear failure, and they keep you trapped in a cycle of inaction. But here's the thing. Those thoughts are not facts. They're just stories you're telling yourself. And the good news is, you can change the story. Start by becoming aware of your negative thoughts. Pay attention to the things you say to yourself. Are you telling yourself, I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, it's too late for me? If so, challenge those thoughts. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or is it just something I've been telling myself because it's easier than trying? One of the most effective ways to combat negative thinking is to replace it with positive action. When you start taking steps toward your goals, even small ones, you prove to yourself that you're capable. You build confidence, and that confidence quiets the negative voice in your head. Another powerful tool is gratitude. When you focus on what you're grateful for, it shifts your perspective. It reminds you of what's possible. It helps you see opportunities instead of obstacles. The truth is, you can't eliminate negative thoughts completely. They're going to pop up from time to time, but you don't have to let them control you. You can choose to acknowledge them and then move forward anyway. So let's bring this all together. Habits, excuses, and negative thinking are the chains that keep the weak version of you alive. If you want to kill that weak version and step into your potential, you have to break those chains. Start by identifying the habits that are holding you back. Replace them with better ones. Take ownership of your excuses and commit to action instead of justification. Challenge your negative thoughts and replace them with empowering beliefs. This isn't easy work, but it's worth it. Because on the other side of those chains is freedom. Freedom to live a life you're proud of. Freedom to become the person you've always wanted to be. Number 3, painting a vivid picture of a life stuck in mediocrity. Picture this for a moment. You wake up in the same routine that you've been living for years. The alarm clock rings, and you groggily hit snooze just like yesterday and the day before. You get out of bed, but there's no excitement, no fire in your heart about the day ahead. It's just another day, like every other day. You look around and realize nothing has really changed in your life. The dreams you once had, they've been pushed aside so many times that they feel like distant memories. That book you wanted to write, the business you dreamed of starting, the healthier, stronger version of yourself you imagined becoming, they all feel out of reach now. Your job feels like a treadmill. You're working hard, but you're not really getting anywhere. The hours blend together. Maybe it's a paycheck. Maybe it's security. But it doesn't light you up inside. You don't feel proud of what you do. You don't feel like it's making a difference or challenging you to grow. You sit at your desk or wherever your work takes place, and there's this nagging voice in the back of your mind. It says, is this it? Is this what life is supposed to feel like? But then you push it away because thinking about it makes you uncomfortable. So you bury yourself in distractions, scrolling through your phone, watching TV, or zoning out. Anything to avoid confronting that question. Your relationships, they feel stuck too. Maybe you're surrounded by people who complain more than they encourage. Maybe your conversations are surface level, with no real connection or depth. You've wanted to build stronger bonds, but you haven't taken the steps to do it. So you settle for what's easy, even though it doesn't fulfill you. When the weekend comes, instead of feeling excited, you feel drained. You spend most of your time either doing nothing or overindulging to escape the emptiness you feel during the week. And when Sunday night rolls around, there's that familiar dread of starting it all over again. Now think about your health. Maybe you've been saying for years, I'll start exercising, or I'll eat better. But the days keep slipping by, and those promises turn into regrets. You notice the little things, the lack of energy, the way your body feels heavier or more sluggish than it used to, the frustration of knowing you could be doing better for yourself, but not taking action. And then there's your mind, your mindset. It feels like you've been stuck in the same patterns of thinking for as long as you can remember. Doubts, fears, and second-guessing yourself dominate your thoughts. You see others achieving their goals, and instead of feeling inspired, you feel resentful or defeated. You think, why can't I have that? But deep down, you know why. You haven't taken the steps to earn it. Now imagine a day 10 years from now. You're still stuck in the same place. The dreams you had are even further away, maybe impossible now. The opportunities you missed have closed. Your health is worse, your energy lower, your confidence even shakier. The relationships that could have grown are still stagnant or gone. And that voice, the one that asks, is this it? It's no longer a whisper. It's a loud, relentless reminder that you've let time pass you by. This is mediocrity. This is what it looks like to live a life where you settle for less than you're capable of. It's not dramatic. It's not some huge, glaring failure. It's the quiet erosion of your potential. It's the slow, steady acceptance of a life that's comfortable but unfulfilling. But let me tell you something. This picture I've just painted doesn't have to be your reality. It's not your destiny. You don't have to wake up 10 years from now feeling the weight of regret. You have the power to break out of mediocrity. You have the power to rewrite the story of your life. The first step is acknowledging where you are. Be honest with yourself. Look at the areas of your life where you've been settling. Where have you chosen comfort over growth? Where have you avoided challenges because they felt too hard? Next, decide that you're not going to accept mediocrity anymore. This decision has to come from you. No one else can make it for you. You have to want something better for yourself. Something that lights you up, challenges you, and makes you proud. Then take action. Even small steps can create big change over time. If you're stuck in a job that doesn't fulfill you, start exploring other opportunities. If your health is suffering, commit to one small change today. Go for a walk, drink more water, eat a healthy meal. If your relationships feel distant, make the effort to reach out and have a meaningful conversation. Most importantly, stop waiting. Stop telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll do it when things calm down. There's no perfect time to change. The perfect time is right now. Because here's the truth. Life is short, and the only thing worse than trying and failing is not trying at all. Regret is far heavier than effort. And when you choose to stay in mediocrity, you're not just settling, you're giving up on the person you could have been. So decide today. Kill that weak version of yourself. Say goodbye to the excuses, the bad habits, and the negative thinking that have kept you stuck. Choose to break free from mediocrity and create a life that excites you, challenges you, and fills you with pride. Number 4. The battle isn't external, it's internal, and it's constant. If you truly want to transform your life and become the best version of yourself, you need to understand something critical. The real battle isn't out there. It's not your circumstances, your job, your relationships, or your environment. The real battle is inside you. It's in your mind, your emotions, and the choices you make every single day. This internal battle is constant. It's not something you face once and move past. It's something you will deal with every day. And that's okay, because understanding this is the first step to taking control. Let's start by identifying what this internal battle looks like. It's the voice in your head that tells you to stay comfortable when you know you need to take action. It's the part of you that wants to quit when things get tough. It's the self-doubt that creeps in when you're about to step out of your comfort zone. This is the weak version of yourself. It's the part of you that clings to fear, laziness, and excuses. It's the part of you that wants to avoid discomfort, that wants to take the easy road. And if you're not careful, this weak version will run your life. It will keep you stuck. But here's the good news. You also have a strong version of yourself inside you. This is the part of you that's disciplined, focused, and determined. It's the part of you that knows what you're capable of and pushes you to reach for it. The battle is between these two versions of yourself, the weak and the strong. Every single day you make choices that determine which version of you is in control. When you hit the snooze button instead of getting up to exercise, the weak version wins. When you give in to distractions instead of focusing on your goals, the weak version wins. When you tell yourself, I can't, instead of I'll try, the weak version wins. But the opposite is also true. When you get up and do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, the strong version wins. When you choose discipline over procrastination, the strong version wins. When you push through fear and take action anyway, the strong version wins. This battle is constant because life is full of choices, and every choice is an opportunity to strengthen one side or the other. This might sound exhausting, but it's actually empowering. It means that you are in control. It means that your life is the result of your decisions, not your circumstances. Now let's talk about how to win this internal battle. The first step is awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts and feelings that arise when you're faced with a challenge. Notice when the weak version of yourself starts to take over. Are you making excuses? Are you looking for an easy way out? Are you avoiding the hard work? Once you're aware of what's happening, you can make a conscious choice to act differently. You can choose to listen to the strong version of yourself instead. This might feel difficult at first, because the weak version has probably been in control for a long time. But with practice, it gets easier. Discipline is your greatest weapon in this battle. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's sticking to your commitments, even when it's uncomfortable. It's showing up every day, no matter what. The thing about discipline is that it builds momentum. The more you practice it, the stronger you become. Each time you choose discipline, you're strengthening the strong version of yourself. You're proving to yourself that you're capable of overcoming challenges, and that confidence carries over into every area of your life. Another powerful tool in this battle is self-awareness. Take time to reflect on your actions and decisions. Ask yourself, am I acting out of strength or weakness? Is this choice moving me closer to my goals or further away? Being honest with yourself is crucial because self-deception only strengthens the weak version of you. You also need a clear vision of the person you want to become. When you know what you're working toward, it's easier to stay focused and motivated. Take some time to imagine your strong version. What do they look like? How do they act? What habits do they have? Keep that vision in mind as you make decisions throughout your day. And don't forget about self-talk. The way you speak to yourself matters. If you're constantly criticizing yourself or doubting your abilities, you're feeding the weak version. Instead, use positive, empowering language. Remind yourself of your strengths. Encourage yourself to keep going. Now, here's something important to understand. You're not going to win every battle. There will be days when the weak version gets the upper hand. That's normal. You're human. The key is to not let one bad day turn into a bad week, a bad month, or a bad year. When you slip up, acknowledge it, learn from it, and get back on track. This is a lifelong process. There's no finish line, no point where you've made it and the battle is over. But that's what makes it so meaningful. The struggle itself is what builds your character. It's what makes you stronger. Every time you choose the strong version of yourself, you're not just winning a small battle, you're transforming your life. You're building habits, developing discipline, and creating momentum. You're becoming the person you were meant to be. So remember this, the battle isn't out there. It's not about changing the world around you. It's about changing the world within you. It's about taking control of your thoughts, your emotions, and your choices. Decide today that you're going to win this battle. Decide that you're going to strengthen the strong version of yourself, one choice at a time. Decide that you're not going to let the weak version hold you back anymore. Number 5. Today is the day you decide to step up. Today is the day. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Not when the timing feels right, or when life finally slows down. Today is the day you decide to step up. The day you draw a line in the sand and commit to becoming the person you were always meant to be. Think about where you are right now. Maybe you've been waiting for a sign, a moment, or some external push to make a change. But deep down, you already know that no one is coming to save you. The life you want, the goals you've dreamed of, the changes you need to make, they're all waiting for you to take that first step. And here's the hard truth. Every day you wait is a day you can't get back. Time is relentless. It doesn't pause while you figure things out or wait for the perfect conditions. The longer you stay in the same place, the harder it becomes to move forward. So why not decide today to change that? You might feel uncertain or scared about stepping up. That's normal. Change is uncomfortable, and stepping into the unknown can be intimidating. But let me ask you this. Is staying where you are any less scary? Is continuing to live with the frustration of unfulfilled potential, the weight of excuses, and the regret of inaction really a better option? Think about how far you could be a year from now. If you start today, a year of consistent effort could completely transform your health, your career, your relationships, and your mindset. But it all starts with this moment, this decision, right now. Stepping up doesn't mean you have to overhaul your entire life in one day. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect or have it all figured out. It simply means you're ready to take responsibility for your life and take the first step forward. Start small if you need to. Choose one area of your life where you know you've been holding back. Maybe it's your health. Commit to drinking more water or going for a walk today. Maybe it's your career. Spend 30 minutes researching a new skill or opportunity. Maybe it's your mindset. Write down 3 things you're grateful for or 3 goals you want to achieve. What matters is that you take action today, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Because here's another truth. You'll never feel 100% ready. There will always be doubts, fears, and excuses trying to hold you back. But the only way to overcome them is to move forward anyway. When you step up today, you're sending a powerful message to yourself. You're saying, I'm capable, I'm worthy, I'm in control of my life. That shift in mindset is where real transformation begins. As you take that first step, remember that progress, not perfection, is the goal. You're going to make mistakes along the way. You'll have days where you stumble or feel like you're not making enough progress. That's okay. What matters is that you keep going. Each step you take builds momentum. Each decision to act strengthens your confidence. And before you know it, the changes you're making start to feel like second nature. What once felt hard or overwhelming becomes part of who you are. Today is the day you stop settling for less than you deserve. It's the day you stop blaming your circumstances, other people, or your past for where you are. It's the day you take ownership of your life and your future. Think about the version of yourself you want to become. The version that wakes up each morning with purpose and goes to bed each night feeling proud. That version of you is waiting, and the only thing standing in the way is your decision to start. So what will it be? Will today be just another day where you let the weak version of yourself win? Or will today be the day you finally step up and claim the life you deserve? The choice is yours. And remember, it's not about making the perfect choice. It's about making a choice, any choice, that moves you forward. Because the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to change. But the moment you decide to step up, everything begins to shift. Number 6. Success isn't one big leap. It's the little steps that add up. Success is often misunderstood. Some people think it's this grand, sweeping moment when everything changes at once. A big break, a lucky opportunity, or a sudden transformation. But that's not how it works. Success isn't one big leap. It's a series of small, consistent steps that over time lead to the life you've always wanted. If you look closely at anyone who's achieved something significant, you'll see that their journey wasn't built on one monumental action. It was built on the little things they did daily, the habits they practiced, the choices they made, and the effort they put in, even when no one was watching. And that's where most people get stuck. They overlook the power of small steps because they're too focused on the end result. They want the finish line without running the race. They want the reward without putting in the work. But here's the truth. Those small steps matter. In fact, they matter more than the big moments. Because it's the little steps that build momentum. It's the little steps that create discipline. And it's the little steps that transform you into the person capable of achieving your goals. Think about it like this. Every small action you take is like planting a seed. At first, it might not seem like much. You won't see instant results. But if you keep watering that seed, if you keep showing up day after day, it starts to grow. And over time, those small actions add up to something incredible. This is where the weak version of yourself can get in the way. That part of you might look at those small steps and say, what's the point? This isn't making a difference. It might convince you to skip the workout, put off the work, or give up altogether because the results aren't immediate. But success doesn't work on your timetable. It takes patience, persistence, and trust in the process. You have to believe that the little steps you're taking today will lead to the big changes you want tomorrow. Let's break this down into something practical. Think about a goal you have, whether it's improving your health, advancing your career, or building better relationships. Now ask yourself, what's one small thing I can do today to move closer to that goal? If it's your health, maybe it's drinking an extra glass of water or going for a 15-minute walk. If it's your career, maybe it's sending one email, making one call, or learning one new skill. If it's your relationships, maybe it's reaching out to someone you care about or spending 10 minutes having a meaningful conversation. It doesn't have to be big or flashy. It just has to be consistent. Because here's what happens: those small actions start to compound. One glass of water turns into a habit of staying hydrated. One walk turns into a routine of regular exercise. One email turns into a network of opportunities. The same is true for your mindset. If you want to kill the weak version of yourself, start with small mental shifts. Replace one negative thought with a positive one. Make one empowering decision instead of a fear-based one. Celebrate one small win instead of focusing on what you haven't achieved yet. And here's the beautiful thing about small steps. They're manageable. You don't have to change your entire life overnight. You just have to commit to doing one thing today, then another tomorrow, and another the day after that. This approach is powerful because it builds confidence. Each small step proves to yourself that you can take action, that you can follow through, and that you're capable of growth. And as your confidence grows, so does your ability to take on bigger challenges. Now let's talk about something important, the timeline. You might be wondering, how long will it take? That's a fair question, but it's the wrong focus. Because the timeline doesn't matter as much as the direction. What matters is that you're moving forward, even if it's slow. Think about this. If you improve just 1% every day, by the end of the year, you'll be 37 times better than you were at the start. That's the power of small, consistent steps. But it only works if you stay committed. There will be days when it feels like nothing is happening. Days when you're tired, frustrated, or tempted to quit. Those are the moments when you need to remind yourself why you started. Success isn't glamorous. It's not about big dramatic leaps. It's about the grind, the discipline, and the willingness to keep going when it's hard. It's about showing up for yourself, even when no one else is. And here's one last thing to remember. Small steps don't just lead to success. They are success. Each time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you're succeeding. You're proving to yourself that you're capable of change. You're building the habits and mindset that will carry you forward. So don't underestimate the power of small steps. Don't let the weak version of yourself convince you that they don't matter. Because those little steps are the foundation of everything you're working toward. Number 7. Your environment influences your growth. Your environment, everything around you, has a profound impact on who you are and who you become. If you want to kill the weak version of yourself and truly step into your full potential, you must understand this. Your environment shapes your thoughts, your habits, and ultimately your success. When we talk about environment, it's more than just the physical space you live in. It includes the people you interact with, the media you consume, the places you spend your time, and the general energy that surrounds you. Every single part of your environment has the power to either fuel your growth or hold you back. The reality is this: you cannot expect to grow, to thrive, or to change if you are surrounded by negativity, complacency, and people who don't support your goals. The weak version of yourself often thrives in environments that reinforce excuses, comfort, and lack of ambition. But the strong version of yourself, your true potential, needs an environment that challenges you, pushes you, and elevates you. Let's start by considering the people in your life. If you're constantly surrounded by individuals who complain, who settle for mediocrity, or who discourage your dreams, then that energy will seep into your own mindset. It's not about blaming anyone. It's about acknowledging the fact that your relationships play a huge role in shaping your thinking and your behavior. Think about it. When you're around people who are positive, driven, and ambitious, you feel inspired to act. You want to be better. You start thinking bigger. But when you're around people who are stuck in negative thinking, who settle for less, or who hold you back, it becomes so much harder to break free from the weak version of yourself. That's why it's so important to choose your circle wisely. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, challenge you, and help you become the best version of yourself. You need those individuals who push you to be better and who believe in you even when you don't fully believe in yourself. Now, let's talk about the media and content you consume. The information you feed your mind shapes your thoughts, which shapes your actions. If you're constantly consuming negative news, toxic social media, or mindless entertainment, it's easy to fall into a mindset of fear, doubt, and complacency. But if you surround yourself with positive content, whether that's books, podcasts, videos, or anything that inspires and educates you, you'll begin to see a shift in your thinking. Your mind will be filled with new ideas, motivation, and perspectives that will encourage you to take action. The key here is being intentional with what you expose yourself to. You get to choose the thoughts you allow in your mind, and those thoughts will either strengthen or weaken you. Physical environment matters as well. If you spend your time in cluttered, chaotic spaces, it can create mental clutter. If your surroundings are disorganized, messy, or draining, it will be much harder to focus, be productive, or stay motivated. A clean, organized space encourages clarity and action. Your physical environment should inspire you to do your best work, to focus on your goals, and to stay disciplined. But your environment isn't just about your immediate surroundings. it's also about the places you choose to be. Where you spend your time has a direct impact on who you become. If you're constantly in places that encourage unhealthy habits or mindsets, whether it's a bar, a place of gossip, or an environment that doesn't align with your values, it's hard to grow. If you want to elevate your life, you need to choose places that challenge and inspire you. Seek out environments that align with your values and goals. Go to events that expand your mind. Put yourself in situations that push you outside your comfort zone, and find spaces that encourage growth. The key to this is recognizing that your environment is always influencing you, whether you realize it or not. You're constantly absorbing energy from the people, places, and things around you. So if you want to kill the weak version of yourself, you have to intentionally design an environment that nurtures your growth. Here's something important to remember. You don't have to completely change your environment overnight, but you can start making small changes. Maybe it's cutting out negative influences from your life, or setting new boundaries with people who drain you. Maybe it's spending more time in spaces that inspire you, like a library, a quiet park, or a gym. Maybe it's committing to consume content that empowers you to take action, rather than passively scrolling through distractions. Remember, growth doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens when you surround yourself with the right influences, whether that's the people you spend time with, the places you go, or the content you engage with. By carefully choosing your environment, you create the foundation for success. If you want to succeed, if you want to step into your full potential, you need to make sure that your environment is supporting that goal. The weak version of yourself thrives in environments that reinforce negative habits, poor self-belief, and laziness. But the strong version of yourself grows in environments that push you to be better, that challenge your limits, and that encourage you to step outside of your comfort zone. Number 8, growth comes from doing hard things. Growth does not come from comfort. It does not come from playing it safe or sticking to what's easy. True growth happens when you challenge yourself, when you push beyond your limits, and when you embrace the discomfort of doing hard things. If you're trying to grow and become the best version of yourself, you need to understand this fundamental truth. Growth comes from doing the hard things. Think about it. If life were always easy, there would be no room for growth. If everything came easy, if you never faced a challenge or pushed through a struggle, you wouldn't build the resilience, strength, or character required to succeed. It's in the hard moments, the times when you're tested, that you find out what you're really made of. The weak version of yourself wants comfort. It wants to avoid challenges. It wants things to come quickly and easily, without having to face any kind of adversity. But here's the secret. The weak version of yourself doesn't grow. It stays stagnant, stuck in the same patterns, never pushing forward. The strong version of yourself, the version that you're capable of becoming, thrives in the face of difficulty. That version of you understands that discomfort is the breeding ground of growth. When you do hard things, you learn more about yourself than you ever could by taking the easy path. Let's talk about the idea of comfort. It's tempting, right? When things are comfortable, it feels safe. You don't have to worry about failing or making mistakes. You can stay in your routine, in your familiar space, without ever being pushed to step up. But comfort is the enemy of progress. Comfort keeps you stuck in the same place. It doesn't allow you to tap into your potential. In fact, if you want to change, if you want to transform your life, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's where the real growth happens. It's in the hard conversations you don't want to have. It's in the workouts you don't feel like doing. It's in the projects you're afraid to start. It's in the decisions that scare you, the risks that challenge you, and the sacrifices that push you outside of what feels safe. And here's the truth. You're never going to be ready for the hard things. There will always be a part of you that resists, that wants to pull back, that says maybe tomorrow. But the longer you wait, the longer you delay your growth. The longer you avoid hard things, the longer you stay in the comfort zone, the further you are from the person you want to become. So what hard things are you avoiding? What challenges are you running from? What opportunities are you not seizing because they feel difficult or uncomfortable? These are the things that, if faced head-on, will push you forward. They will help you build strength, resilience, and character. The process of doing hard things isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, giving your best effort, and pushing through the discomfort. It's about taking those moments of struggle and using them to fuel your growth. It's in the moments of failure when you fall short of your expectations, that you learn the most. Failure isn't something to be afraid of. It's a teacher. It's an opportunity to learn, to adjust, and to come back stronger. Every time you fail and keep going, you grow. Every time you face a challenge and don't give up, you grow. Think about some of the hardest moments in your life. Maybe they were times of personal struggle or professional challenges. Maybe they were moments of loss, disappointment, or failure. But think about how you emerged from those moments. Think about how you learned, adapted, and became stronger because you didn't shy away from the difficulty. You faced it head on, and in doing so, you grew. Now imagine your life if you constantly avoided hard things. Imagine staying in your comfort zone forever. You'd never experience the satisfaction of overcoming challenges, the pride of achieving something difficult, or the growth that comes from pushing yourself. Instead, you'd stay in the same place, never fully tapping into your potential. Growth requires effort. It requires facing hard things with determination and resilience. And it requires you to be willing to step outside your comfort zone and embrace the discomfort that comes with change. When you do this, you begin to see a transformation, not just in what you accomplish, but in who you are becoming. Think about the person you want to be, the person who is strong, resilient, and capable, the person who has faced adversity and come out the other side more powerful. That person is waiting for you on the other side of hard work, dedication, and perseverance. It's easy to look at others who seem successful or accomplished and think they've got it easy. But what you don't see are the hard things they've done to get to where they are. You don't see the sacrifices, the late nights, the failures, and the obstacles they've had to overcome. If you want to become the best version of yourself, you have to be willing to do hard things. You have to be willing to challenge yourself and face the difficulties that come with growth. The easy path won't lead you anywhere meaningful. But the hard path, the one filled with struggle and discomfort, is where true growth happens. Number 9, focus on recognizing and celebrating every step forward. One of the most powerful ways to kill the weak version of yourself is to recognize and celebrate every step forward. In a world that often focuses on big achievements, we tend to forget that growth is a process, one that's built on countless small victories. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that success only matters when it's huge, when it's dramatic, and when it's visible to everyone around you. But the truth is, success is found in the small wins, the daily progress, and the relentless pursuit of improvement. You don't need to wait for a massive breakthrough to celebrate. The steps you take, no matter how small, are what matter. When you make that first decision to show up, to take action, to push through, you're already moving in the right direction. Every small improvement you make, every step you take, adds up to something much bigger than you realize. If you don't take time to recognize those small steps, you risk getting discouraged. You risk feeling like you're not making progress, when in fact, you are. It's easy to overlook how far you've come because you're too focused on where you think you should be. But growth doesn't happen all at once. It happens over time, and it happens step by step. So take a moment to look at the progress you've already made. How far have you come in the last week, the last month, the last year? Even if it doesn't feel like much, there's always something to celebrate. Maybe you've started waking up earlier, or you've been more consistent with your workout routine. Maybe you've made a habit of reading, or you've taken steps to improve your relationships. These are all steps forward, and they matter. Celebrating these small wins is essential because it fuels your motivation. Every time you recognize that you've made progress, it reinforces the belief that you can continue to improve. It reminds you that change is happening, even if it feels slow at times. When you celebrate these victories, you're telling yourself, I'm capable, I'm moving in the right direction, and I am strong enough to keep going. It's not about perfection. It's not about always being the best, the fastest, or the most successful. It's about taking consistent steps forward, no matter how small. And those steps are worth celebrating because they're moving you closer to the person you want to be. The weak version of yourself focuses only on the end result. It says, I haven't made it yet, so why bother? But the strong version of yourself recognizes that the journey itself is just as important as the destination. Every step forward is progress, and that's worth celebrating. Think about how you'd feel if every time you took a step forward, you acknowledged it and gave yourself credit. Instead of beating yourself up for not being perfect, you would be lifting yourself up with the understanding that you are moving toward your goals, one small step at a time. You would be reinforcing the habit of success, not perfection, and you'd be building momentum to carry you even further. You don't need anyone else to recognize your progress. You don't need to wait for external validation. You can celebrate your own victories in your own way. Maybe it's a quiet moment of reflection, where you acknowledge the effort you've put in. Maybe it's a small reward, a treat, a break, or a moment of rest. Whatever it is, make sure you're taking the time to recognize how far you've come. It's also important to celebrate the setbacks. I know it sounds strange, but think about it. Every failure, every obstacle you face is an opportunity to learn and grow. When you look at your setbacks as part of the process, you free yourself from the negative cycle of self-doubt and frustration. Instead of being discouraged, you embrace these moments, learn from them, and keep moving forward. The key here is consistency. The weak version of yourself gets discouraged and gives up when progress feels slow. But the strong version understands that growth is about consistency. It's about showing up every day, making small improvements, and recognizing that the process is just as valuable as the outcome. How many times have you wanted to quit because the progress wasn't happening fast enough? We all go through that. But when you shift your focus to recognizing the small wins, you break that cycle. You remind yourself that success isn't about one giant leap forward. It's about taking consistent, intentional steps in the right direction. And when you do that, the results will come. As you go through this journey, think about how you can celebrate your progress. Perhaps it's journaling about your wins at the end of each day. Perhaps it's sharing your successes with someone who supports you. Or maybe it's just pausing for a moment of gratitude for the work you've put in. Whatever it is, make sure you're celebrating every step forward. When you celebrate, you're reinforcing your commitment to growth. You're building a mindset of abundance and success, where you acknowledge your progress and use it as fuel to keep going. The more you celebrate, the more momentum you build, and the stronger you become in your journey to kill the weak version of yourself. Number DA's, bull. We all have a vision of who we want to be, but the difference between who you are today and who you're capable of becoming lies in one crucial decision: stepping into your potential. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, to let fears and doubts hold you back, to stay in the comfort zone where everything feels familiar. But if you want to kill that weak version of yourself, you need to step boldly into the person you were meant to become. Your potential is not some distant dream or far-off fantasy. It's right there, waiting for you to claim it. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment, the ideal circumstances, or the right amount of experience. You already have what it takes. It's within you, locked inside, waiting for you to step forward and unlock it. Too many people live their lives caught in a cycle of someday. Someday I'll be successful. Someday I'll start that business. Someday I'll write that book. But that day is today. The moment to step into your potential is right now. You have everything you need at this very moment to start taking action, to start moving forward, and to start creating the life you desire. It's time to stop making excuses. It's time to stop playing small. There is greatness within you, and it's time to bring it out. Stepping into your potential means recognizing the power you have inside of you and choosing to act on it, regardless of fear, doubt, or uncertainty. When you make the decision to step into your potential, you stop holding yourself back. You stop letting your past define your future. You stop letting your circumstances dictate your destiny. You take control of your life, and you make a commitment to your own growth, success, and happiness. This is not about waiting for the world to give you permission. It's about understanding that you are capable of creating the life you want right now. It's about believing in yourself, even when the path isn't clear and the road ahead seems uncertain. The best version of you is not some future version. It's the person you decide to become today, with the actions you take and the choices you make. Stepping into your potential is about embracing the challenges, the difficulties, and the discomfort that come with growth. It's about being willing to face your fears and doubts head on and still moving forward. It's about doing the hard work, staying committed, and trusting the process, even when it feels like progress is slow. The weak version of yourself would hold back, hesitate, and make excuses. It would doubt its own abilities, wait for the right time, and play it safe. But the strong version of you knows that the only way to reach your potential is to take risks, to go after what you want, and to trust that every step, no matter how small, is moving you closer to the person you're meant to become. There's no more waiting, no more holding back. The world needs your unique gifts, your talents, and your passion. It's time to step into who you really are. It's time to stop doubting your worth and start believing that you are capable of more than you've ever imagined. You are meant for greatness. You were born with the potential to achieve amazing things, to live a life full of purpose, and to make a difference in the world around you. But that potential will remain dormant if you don't take action. It will remain untapped if you don't step forward and embrace it. This is your moment. The weak version of yourself may be comfortable in the familiar, in the safety of not taking risks. But the strong version of you is ready to step into the unknown. You are capable of so much more than you realize. You are capable of breaking through the limitations you've placed on yourself. You are capable of becoming the person you've always wanted to be. All it takes is one decision. The decision to step into your potential. The decision to stop settling for mediocrity and to start aiming for greatness. The decision to stop letting fear hold you back and to start taking action toward your dreams.